Hi, I'm Andrew Littleford, and this last segment is a tips and tricks. If you've been playing for a few years, I'm going to take a guess that the trumpet from time to time has been a little inconsistent. One day you sounded really good and felt really good, and then the next day it didn't feel very good or maybe didn't sound very good. This is usually going to be due to the fact that you either played too much or more than you're used to, or you played too loud, or maybe a little bit of both. And then the next day, as a result, your lips feel a little sore, tired, stiff, and maybe even a little swollen. The way to kind of get back on track would, first of all, when you're warming up, to rest as much as you play. I would suggest to do this all the time, but especially if you're feeling a little beat up, I would definitely rest as much as you play. And when you do play, I would play longer notes that are a little bit quieter, maybe medium volume or a little bit quieter, and I would start with just the air. I call these air attacks, and this is something that we would not normally do in band class or while we're playing music. There's two different air attacks I would want you to go through. I would pick a note that was nice and easy, maybe a G, something that is very comfortable for you, and I would start with an H attack or a and this is going to kind of allow the air to gradually start the sound. So the sound might not start right away, but it will start once the lips want to vibrate. We don't want to force the vibration by putting a lot of air or exploding air or kind of holding the air behind our tongue and then letting it go and exploding. We want to try not to force the sound. We want to kind of let the sound start naturally. So if I were to start with an H sound, it would sound something like this. So once I get that and I feel like the sound is nice and big and resonant without using a whole lot of air, air speed that is, then I would move on to another air attack with more of a P sound. So this would kind of increase the response time. So the response of the air hitting the lips would start the note a little bit quicker. So it sounds something like this. So I would do this, and I would kind of I would maybe start there and then maybe go up a little, go up a few notes. Trying to get that same really good sound that I started with an air attack to go between all the other notes as I go scale above, or maybe below, or maybe a little bit of both. After that, I'd maybe start tonguing a little bit more, maybe go into some tongue slurs, but resting as much as you play is going to be a really good helpful tip to kind of get back on track. The last thing I would suggest would be to listen to good trumpet players as often as you can. There's a lot of great resources out there, YouTube and streaming platforms that have great trumpet players on it for free. And I would take advantage of this and try to listen to as many good trumpet players as you can and try to emulate their sound. If you're not familiar with some of these trumpet players, I would suggest listening to Wynton Marsalis or Alison Balsam, Sean Jones, or Ingrid Jensen, just to name a few.